this morning. That's not even close to the coldest race, which was in 1978. We started this race at 25 degrees. Yeah. We didn't get above 31 all day on that day in 1978.
And then there's been worse. I mean, I ran it in 97 where there was ice on the road and it was a wind chill of 6 degrees, and it's unforgettable how terrible that day was.
It is.
But you muscled through it. You know, this shot now kind of shows too the people behind the elites, and the Houston Marathon does such a good job of making every runner out here feel special. And we have what we call our local elites as well, who get really great treatment, all of them at the George R. Brown Convention Center before the race begins.
The real difference between the elites and the non-elites in this marathon is one's on the second floor, others are on the first floor. Everyone's treated like an elite here, better than any place I've ever even heard of, and that's what makes this marathon so special.
It's a great place to stay warm before the race, and you don't have to wait outside in the cold for very long. They make sure of that as we get ready to start this race. A great race, John is talking about, especially in the women's half marathon today.
The women's half marathon has the second fastest person of all time in this race, and she's coupled with some of the best marathoners in history. In the women's half, you've got there's 3 marathoners that are this past year ran the first, third, and fourth fastest times of the year, which turned out to be the 4th, 6th, and 7th best marathons ever run.
Wow!
This is sort of like having the Wimbledon finalist and the U.S. Open champion coming to this event. They're winning the best races, they're running the fastest times, and they're not even the favorite to win the women's half. The Fancy Chematai has run the second fastest time by 1 second ever run in the half, and she says she's going for the world record today. The world record.
In the last decade or so, the Ethiopians have dominated this running here in Houston, especially this race. This year you got a lot of Kenyans involved.
Right, it's going to be almost like a team challenge in a way between the Kenyans and the Ethiopians battling it out in various races.
How do they calculate who they think are the favorites in races like these?
In these longer races, it's kind of a guess in a way. I look and see what they did in 2018 and as well as what they've done in their life. But like Fancy hasn't raced since September, so you're assuming she's fit. She had a little bit of an injury after she ran that really fast 64.52 last year, and we think she's come back from it, but it's kind of a guess. Yeah. It's kind of a guess for her, too. She knows what she's done in practice, but how will that come out today in the actual race?
And then we've seen surprises like, for example, where someone who's a pacer, who's supposed to just help other people stay on course,
the rabbits,
actually decide to win the race.
Right, because
we've seen that happen before.
In the men's half, which is almost as good as the women's, you have the number 3 all-time and the number 7 all-time, and when they've gone head-to-head, the number 7 athletes beating the number 3. They're trying to come through the 10K, and the runners this will make sense to them, in 27:50. 27:50 10K would win most of the absolute 10Ks in this country, if not in the world. It's phenomenal, and that's like not even halfway. So the rabbits have to be in spectacular shape to pull them through the times they're trying to hit.
Yeah. All right, as you continue to watch those runners stream through the starting gate in downtown Houston, 28,411 officially entered for the 2 races today. It's just about split between females and males. There is a slight advantage, 14,364 female registrants and about 14,037 men. And again, the women far outnumber the men in the half marathon. The men outnumber the women in the marathon.
Yeah, but just like you said, just by a smidge. And of so many different ages represented today. You have the oldest runner is 88 years old.
88 and a half marathon.
And the youngest is 7 years old, and that's for the half marathon, a 12-year-old for the marathon.
We have an 83-year-old running the full marathon today, which I think is the oldest entrant in the marathon so far.
And they'll make it under the time limit, the 6-hour time limit. I think they'll make it. This is not a marathon like a lot of places where the course is open for 10 or 12 hours. This is a more serious marathon for the average runner.
And another reason people like coming to Houston to run races like this is because of our terrain.
Oh, especially the half marathon.
Yeah.
This course of the half marathon is like no hills and like 8 turns. I mean, if there's a place that you can set a record, it's here.
Let's talk about how technology has changed the starting gate, John, because in the past, we would have all of these people who would say, oh my gosh, and this is years past though, how do I get my time correct? But this is all chip technology now.
Exactly. They actually try to slow the start down, and there's a funneling effect. They squeeze you down, and they space out the corrals. There's like 4 different corrals, A, B, C, and D, and they'll let one corral go, then they'll hold the others back, and the next corral goes. The reason for that is so everybody gets to run across the starting line. In the old days when they shot one gun and you had 5,000 people start, you'd have to walk to the starting line, and then you would probably walk a lot of the first mile just to get started. This one, everyone can run their pace from the get-go, from hitting the starting line. Now it'll probably take 30 minutes to get everybody through the starting line on this system, but it's a lot better system, a lot more enjoyable for everybody.
And so we can see on the left side of the screen there where you have the people corralled, as you said, they're waiting for their chance as they kind of approach.
Right, so you're doing the walking and the slow stuff before you start racing.
Right.
So everyone's hitting, they can be at their pace at the starting line itself. So they'll have these small gaps between each of the corrals. It's a very elaborate system. It's a hard work.
It is, but it works very well here, and you'll see that we still have some people at the starting line or going through the starting gate, probably 15 minutes on into the race after the starters have gone off.
I think last year was closer to 30 minutes.
Okay.
It takes a long time to get them through there, but that's okay. I mean, especially today, it's going to be wonderful the whole day. It's not going to get hot at all.
I'm always in awe when we come here. We come downtown every year about 5 a.m. to see everyone, walking around downtown and wide awake and ready to go.
I know it. And people drinking a lot of coffee.
But there's such camaraderie, and that's the wonderful thing too. I mean, certainly the talented pool of elite runners that is here is wonderful, but so many regular folks that really build camaraderie with each other within our community, raising money for charity or just getting in shape with their friends.
And one of the wonderful things about running or competing is it's actually a cooperative competition. So you and I are battling each other, but you're helping me hit my time and I'm helping you hit your time. So we're actually kind of competitive teammates in a way until the end.
Yeah.
Be it the women trying to set a world record, or the men trying to win a huge amount of prize money, or you and I just trying to beat each other. We get to the last 100 meters, we're going to find a way to, you're not my friend anymore.
Exactly.
I'm here to beat you, but thank you for your help, bud. And that's what makes it great, because you're doing the same thing to me, and that's when we shake hands afterwards.
But you're right, it's hard to win, it's hard to set records if you're the only person out there in front by yourself.
Exactly.
I get what you're saying.
And then having 250,000 people screaming and yelling, and other people screaming and yelling. I think it's great when when the marathon leaders are passing the half marathon people that are just running regular times, they're cheering for the marathon, and it's kind of just a wonderful environment all the way around.
And we'll be showing you the map of this race course during our broadcast this morning, but if you need more information to get out there and cheer on the runners as they come past you in your neighborhood, ABC13.com has it all, the maps and where these runners will be coming and the estimated times that they will be coming to. At the starting line is our sports reporter, David Nuno, and they're still going past you, aren't they, David?
Hey, Tom, I'll tell you what, I can barely hear you so loud with the music blaring. I'm here with the last woman starting today, Megan Saloon. Megan, how are you? You ready?
Good, all ready to go.
So kind of explain to me what the last woman starting means and for what you're doing for the Houston Marathon Charities.
Yes, so I'm the last person to start the start over the starting line. There we go. And after everyone's already started, and so I am trying to pass as many people as I can, and people have pledged money for each person that I pass, and so it's raising money for the Houston Marathon Foundation.
Now here's a little tidbit, guys. She had a baby this summer. So this summer, a few months later, she's over here doing it. So talk about getting ready for this after having a baby in the summer.
Yes, so I had my baby Drew in June, and so he's 7 months old now, and just knew that I wanted to get back into running, and I've been training the past few months, and so this opportunity presented itself, and I was just so honored that I could do this and partner with the Marathon Foundation to raise money for these charities in Houston.
So how do you feel here just a few months after having given birth and about to run? I mean, how do you feel physically, mentally?
I'm excited. I think my training has been going really well, and I'm excited to get out there and see what happens, what I can do.
Best of luck to you, Megan.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Tom and Gina, back to you.
Thank you, David.
That's
that is
awesome.
such a great thing, that money-raising aspect to this race. This is the 25th year that we've had Run for a Reason, that donation to charity that so many people make. They get friends and colleagues to pledge money for each mile they run. It's called Run for a Reason, and they get a favorite charity of theirs. Some people raising for cancer, some people raising for MS, or some people just raising for rare diseases that we've rarely ever heard of, that they get a number of people together and they put together a lot of money.
Yeah, they say over 60 charities are going to benefit this year from that effort, and you're right, it's a great way to make everyone in the community have an opportunity to be touched by the events happening here downtown in Houston today, and actually all weekend long. There have been activities all weekend long.
it's kind of like golf. In the golf tournaments, people win a lot of money and then they raise a lot of money for charity. Well, today they're going to win a lot of money too. There's $45,000 to the winner of the marathon, and if they get the course record, which they're trying to do, they get a $30,000 bonus.
And how does this compare with marathons around the world in terms of prize money?
It's very similar to London. London gives $55,000 to the winner, so we're just below that. But they give a lot more bonus money. But the big ones are in Tokyo, Boston, Chicago, New York. But really outside of that top 5 or 6, we're the next best. I mean, that's why a lot of people come here. It's a good timing marathon. The last big one was in November. The next big one, I think, is in March. So if they want to squeeze a half marathon or maybe a marathon, and this one fits well.
But those marathons you're talking about, London, Boston, and the rest of them, are big in terms of money because of the appearance fees as well, right?
Exactly.
You pay people to run in the race.
London is the one that gives the biggest appearance fee. Way back when Paula Radcliffe has the world record for the women, she supposedly got over $300,000 just to show up. So yeah, that's where their money goes as well.
How much did you get to show up today?
I got a coffee.
Actually,
I didn't. I bought my own coffee. I wanted to add, speaking of money, such a huge economic impact on our community. $50 million they estimate, because of all the racers who come into Houston to run, and all the hotels that are full here downtown as their families come to support them. So many spectators, 250,000 estimated to be along the route, cheering on their friends and family, and also getting a chance to see world-class athletes, perhaps as close as you're ever able to get to a world-class athlete.
Absolutely.
Because they're not letting me on the field with the Texans.
No, but they're letting you right next to these guys. And this, as you mentioned, is truly an international event. 59 countries represented this year, 10 more than last year. From Ethiopia to Ecuador, Brazil to Bahrain. So we've got athletes from around the world
and
here.
why is that, John? Why are we able to increase those numbers internationally?
I think because the marathon the weather's been good for years, and we haven't had a really bad day for quite a while, and they do such a good job. You compare this to, say, Boston. Boston, as a regular runner, you get out there 3 hours before the race. New York does the same thing, 3 hours, and there's no tent.
There's no George R. Brown Convention Center.
George R. Brown.
And if it's cold and rainy, you're in trouble.
You're just stuck there the whole time. I mean, here it is just perfectly set up for everybody.
Yeah.
It's just such a wonderful organized event. And the key is the George R. Brown Convention Center right here.
Right.
They can fit everybody in there. And it might also be things like the breakfast. They serve breakfast till 2 or 3 in the afternoon, which doesn't make much sense, but they get everybody a hot meal all the way through. So everyone's treated really. I did Boston one year, and the slowest person here is treated almost as good as the best person can be treated in Boston. And it's not Boston's fault. They do a wonderful job.
They just don't have the
logistics.
They don't have the ability to. They don't have. Hopkinton doesn't have a convention center sitting out there ready to take in 18,000 people.
Yeah. Well, it's incredible to watch. If you're watching us and you have not come down and seen it in person, it would be great to do so. But if you are down here and you're watching us perhaps on your news app, we want to urge you to post pictures using the hashtag HOU Marathon. We're going to be sharing them on our social media sites, our social media platforms throughout the day, because we really want you to be a part of our coverage of this event.
Absolutely. And most importantly for this year, once again, we have an Elvis impersonator at mile 1.
That's most important, huh?
He has graciously given us his presence again this year, and we'll bring you to the Elvis impersonator. And all our other reporters along the route today, we've got everybody from Courtney Fisher to Pooja Lodi to Elisa Rivas giving you firsthand accounts of mile 10, mile 15, the turnaround, and all along the race route today as we get into this race.
Do we have Bob Slovak or somebody impersonating Bob Slovak?
It is Bob Slovak.
It's the real fellow?
We had the impersonator last year. He didn't do so. We got the real Bob Slovak back, and that's the great idea. Now you're looking at the men's elite runners on the left, and I'm not sure whether that's the half or the full. I'm assuming it's the half, John.
I believe it's the half, and what's interesting about this race, like we're watching this on TV, I think they look like they're going pretty quick.
Yeah.
If you could get out there and see them go by, the TV doesn't do this justice, just how fast these guys are running. They came through the first mile in 4:25, which is world record pace. They slowed down a little bit for the second mile, so they're still on course record pace. But they're running. If you're a high school miler, you want to do 1 mile at the pace they're running 13. If you could do 1 mile at 4:25, you're good in high school.
Almost 25 years ago, when I was a much younger runner and my knees were in better shape, I went out just to do a story with one of the elite athletes a couple of days before the race. And I was just starting with him to run as fast as he did and to see how long I could last. I did not last a mile.
Well, and let's tell people, Tom, how long you've been running, because that's more impressive to me, because I know know what a great physical specimen you are,
well,
Tom.
thank you.
But everybody at home doesn't know you've been running. You know,
40 some years, 42 years. Yeah.
So you're an avid runner.
I love
So
that. Yeah,
and
so
you know,
there we
I
go.
think that
Sky
shot from
right over.
overhead gives you a better picture of how fast they're going.
Yeah, and the half marathon guys, they'll actually look like they're hammering the whole way. The marathoners have to be a little bit more in control,
Reserved.
a little bit more. Yeah, they got to hold back for a long time. But the half in the weather like this, they're just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
I was going to say that's part of how you knew that's probably half marathoners because they'd be at the front at this point.
Right,
Because the
exactly.
marathoners don't want to push this hard.
Oh no, not this
for
time.
If you're
26-2.
that guy running at the back of the pack, are you thinking to yourself, I still have a chance, and you're holding back, or are you thinking maybe I need to pick it up? I mean, what's the strategy as it goes through in these early miles?
Well, when you reach this point, one of the frustrations is like, okay, I know if you're like the back of the pack and you're thinking, this is too fast for me, but your choices are either can run a little too fast and stay in this pack or end up all by myself. And when you're alone out there, it's really hard to maintain a pace.
Okay.
So that's kind of the challenge of if you're not the top guy, do you go with them and see what happens, or do you hang back? A day like today, if you're not too far off that pace, I would say go with them, because this is such a nice day. You may feel better than you thought you
And
could.
you also see, at least it appears as they're wearing hats of some kind, maybe stocking caps.
Yeah.
Will they shed that gear as they go on?
Yes, most of them will shed that gear as they go on. I'm sure somebody even started with a jacket on and dropped them pretty quickly.
I think they have a hat like mine, Tom.
I think they
little,
do.
Little beanie hat, like,
Well, you
like
keep
mine
yours.
and Rick Herring's.
Yes. Our director, Rick Herring, is here, and they're both wearing little beanies.
Because when you're running out there, it's like your body will be fine,
Yeah.
but your hands get cold and
Extremities.
you lose all a lot of your heat through your head. So the idea is to retain that heat through your head until you get hot already. Once you're warmed up, they'll get rid of that stuff.
And again, when they shed the clothing, they're going to be taken to Star of Hope this year, a wonderful tradition we have here in Houston to make sure that a charity here in town gets a chance to benefit from all the clothes, and sometimes very expensive clothes that are left on the streets by these
Especially by the
runners.
elite guys. They
Yeah.
didn't go to the thrift store to buy
They
an old
didn't
sweatshirt.
go to Target, huh?
Yeah, they're wearing their fancy stuff.
Well, it's called the Chevron Houston Marathon and the Aramco Half Marathon for a great reason, because this race could not be done without the corporate sponsorship and the help that those two companies give every year. As we said, this is the 15th year for the Houston Aramco Half Marathon that they've sponsored, the 14th year for Chevron that's been involved, but they're committed for a few more. So we want to thank our corporate sponsors, first of all, but to all of their volunteers. Both companies have a couple of hundred, maybe 400 employees out on the course today,
Yeah.
volunteering or running, so they get their employees involved as
And
well.
20 years with HEB as well.
20 years with
being
HEB,
a partner
that's right.
of this great event. So you want to say something, John?
I was just going to mention on the bottom of the screen, you can see
Yes.
the details that are coming across for each of these races. It's giving you the split, the 5K split, along with the who's in the pack. And when it says plus 000, this means they're all in the same pack. They haven't spread out yet. As this race goes on, we're going to see that expand.
And we also have employees running in the race today.
We
Our
do.
reporter Jessica Willie is running the
Yeah.
full marathon, as is our assignment editor Chaz Miller.
Is Justin running today?
And Justin is running as
Justin
well, one of our
Sternberg?
producers.
Yeah.
Justin Sternberg is actually guiding one of the
Oh, is he?
Yep,
Okay.
the vision impaired runners today.
Yeah, we got a chance to meet one of the vision impaired runners, Robert, today while we were waiting to get started with our coverage, and we certainly wish him the best. So many great people that make sure that people who, whether they're in wheelchairs, we have 5 wheelchair racers, 21 hand cycle racers, 31 visually impaired racers, which is nearly double the number we had last year. So making sure everybody has access to this event who wants it.
Yeah. And we also have coverage today as you're looking live at Sky Eye, but we also have our drone flying this morning over various parts of town, giving you those bird's eye views of the runners. And then our pace trucks right in front of the runners, both in the half and the full marathon this morning. We got you covered from start to finish in this race, the marathon at least, over in 2 hours, the half marathon in just about an hour. We'd love to see it be sub-hour half marathon. The record here in Houston, 59 minutes and something?
59:22 is the
22.
record. There's only been 9 men that have ever broken 1 hour in the United States. So the idea, like last year, Jake Robertson won this in 1 hour and 1 second. He's the 10th fastest man to ever run in the United States. So sub-hour is a really big deal.
Yeah.
And the marathon record just over 2 hours now, right?
The course record's 2:06:51. The world record is
The world
2:01.
record's
Yeah,
2:01.
Eliud Kipchoge ran that at Berlin this year, and it's amazing. He finished that thing running 4:20 something a mile, and then he looked like you just told him he had a baby running around high-fiving everybody. He looked crazy at all.
He looked great. There is that effort.
Endorphins were kicked in.
Right, there is that effort. We talked about it last year to run a sub-2-hour marathon. It is sponsored, and of course, a number of athletes involved in that, including Eliud Kipchoge.
Oh, they set it up pretty much for him. they had these waves of 6 rabbits that were running in like an arrow shape to block the wind and set his perfect pace. They had a truck on a perfect pace. They did it at a Formula One track in Monza, Italy. It broke every rule that you
of
as
a
far
true
as
event.
competition event.
Right.
But he ran 2 hours and 40 seconds or something
Which
like
is to
that.
see what a human body
If
could
a
do.
human body could do it, and he came really close to doing it.
If things
All right,
were perfect.
we've got Courtney Fisher out there at mile 4. Good morning to you, Courtney. As you see on the map, Kirby near Bissonnette.
Good morning. Good morning. A very brisk morning out here, but you wouldn't know it. The excitement is contagious. We are just waiting for these elite runners to get to us right now. You can see all those HPD officers on their bikes. We've just seen a bunch of the incredible hand cyclists powering through down West Gray and turning past Shepherd. And I don't know if you can see them in the distance, but there they are as they're approaching this intersection. Plenty of people out here. They've started getting here about an hour or so ago, bundled up. I talked to a woman who said she learned her lesson last year. She was going to make sure she had 5 layers on this year. People definitely need it, but not those runners. Incredible to watch them passing us now here on West Gray, mile 4. And you can hear the music is pumping out here. People are cheering. They've got their signs. It is a great place to be right now. You guys can see all of the people cheering on these groups. And slowly, we've got packs more and more coming out.
You know, Courtney, I've run a number of the marathons here in Houston, and I can't emphasize how important it is for people to get on and cheer on not only the elites, but the average runners as well. If you're not a runner, you can't imagine how much of a difference it makes when you have people cheering you on as you go by them. And a lot of people wear their names on their jerseys.
Exactly. Yeah, and you gotta feel like that today, especially because it is brutal out here. And so we were wondering, is there gonna be a lot of people showing up? But I don't know, you can hear people are definitely giving these men and women the push they need this morning. They've got their coffees in hand. They are bundled up.
There's one of our hand cyclists going by.
We can hear them. We can hear the cheers.
All right, now here comes our next group of elite runners, and John Warren, maybe you can tell us, would that be the marathoners, perhaps?
Those are the marathoners.
Those are the
there.
marathoners.
Yeah, those are the marathoners. They just came through they're running sub 5 right now. Their mile 4 was 19:53 as a split. So that
good?
That's okay.
Well, come on,
That's
guys.
okay.
I don't know if
They're doing all right.
I don't know
Warren is
if
the
the
coach.
rabbits are doing exactly what they want them to do. I mean, it's a good pace.
Yeah.
Now, you see one guy wearing a long-sleeve shirt there. Do you think he'll shed that by the end of the race?
No, he's got it under his singlet and his number, so
Okay, you're right.
he's
Yeah.
stuck wearing that.
He's stuck wearing it.
for the rest of the race.
It's funny seeing how far ahead that group is. It just passed Courtney, and we still have people that are just starting the race.
We do. There's the
On the
starting line
right-hand-
right there.
Yeah,
And
on
as
the
John Warren
right-hand
said,
side.
working on 30 minutes maybe to get everybody past that starting line.
Yeah, hopefully this is the last corral, but there may be one more after this.
Yeah, I don't see people behind there. It looks
It's-
like we're doing.
It's a very elaborate thing. They come from side streets.
Okay.
I mean, and they
Bring 'em
open this
around.
and shift people around. It's a concert. It's a symphony that someone has to conduct to make this all work out well.
All right, well, sit tight. Grab another cup of coffee or maybe hot cocoa. We'll be back with more of the Chevron Houston Marathon and the Aramco Half Marathon right after this.
Of course, all of them are all right together. He's about 3 meters.
I don't hear Kim. I mean, I hear.
I would have never thought, oh, I'm a little girl from Mumbai, India, who now paints giant murals in Houston and will be doing some all over the world eventually.
When John V. Foamsby envisioned Houston, the city she now calls home, this is what she sees.
Our city is beautiful. There's a lot of color, there's a lot of diversity. So this is the painting that I did for the marathon.
Stroke by stroke, the Indian-born artist meticulously created this year's Houston Marathon poster, one of the most treasured keepsakes runners will receive.
You need a lot of resilience to be able to actually fill and finish a marathon. That's what I wanted the work to be around. about resilience, about movement.
But she's not just an artist. Her other great love is scuba diving, and she finds the inspiration for her majestic painting deep below the ocean's surface.
All I felt was I was one with my breath, and I was invited to see something that was truly beautiful. And that's all I imagine is like when you're running, all you can hear is your breath, and you're just invited to like view everything around you in your environment, and you just take it in.
She hopes runners will each have their own interpretation of her vibrant cityscape.
This is a story of showing power in our city and showing this resilient force that we have for it.
I love that. That describes Houston in a T.
Absolutely.
Resilience.
Great representation of our city. So we are watching very closely the race right now because we're starting to see a pack emerge.
The Pacers, I don't think are doing what we wanted to
Really?
do. Yeah, they're a little bit off. I think I think I noticed before we went to break that in the half, which is here on the left, they ran past the Pacers. They're supposed, like I said, they're shooting for 27:50, which is just a remarkable time to begin with for a 10K, much less being able to do it from the front. So none of these guys are the Pacers here. I'm trying to think who that is. You know, again, there's one of the favorites. Yimmer is the favorite coming in. He's got the fastest time, third fastest time ever. Last year in 5 half marathons, it was his first one ever was a 59 flat, the greatest debut ever. He ran 5 half marathons, all tremendously fast. He didn't win a single race.
Isn't that amazing? Wow.
So he's the third fastest ever, but the race he ran the world record was set. So he's looking for his first win today in a half marathon. He's run other races, but not in a half.
We hope we're here to witness it, right?
Exactly.
We have Pooja Lodia on the streets for us between miles 6 and 7. She's at Kirby and Bissonnette, and it sounds like it's awfully loud where you are, Pooja.
Guys, I finally figured out how it is to stay warm out here. Check this out. I am hanging out with these amazing Bolivian folkloric dancers. They've been coming here every year for about 10 years. Tell us why this is so important to you. Why come out?
Just because to show our culture and we like sports, so just cheering all these people, it just makes us so happy, and to show the kids the importance of, show your folklore, show your country, and cheer for these people. They do such a great job.
That is just wonderful. It's been amazing to see how many people have been coming out here. So you can see there are some Houston police officers here leading the way. We are expecting to see some runners come by here very soon, but people started lining up right at about 6 o'clock, so about an hour before this race even started out here. That's how much they really wanted to support all of these runners. If you look here on the other side, you'll notice many people are, of course, bundled up, and let's see if we can actually walk over here. Now that the police have passed us by, we can talk to a couple of these spectators. Again, we're talking about 250,000 spectators, a lot of them extremely excited. Guys, you are amazing because it is cold out here. Tell us why you came out here.
Because we love to watch them have, this every year. So we're here, and we love to run too, but today it's like
That is amazing. I'm loving seeing some of these signs. Again, you can see some of these participants starting to come through here. We're at Kirby and Bissonnette. Again, a lot of people out here right now trying to kind of keep warm out here as this marathon really gets started. If we walk over here, we can see again more and more people. Hey guys, thank you so much for coming out here. Guys, tell us a little bit, how are you staying warm and why was it worth it to make it out here?
This is like the 12th or 13th year for our family to run. This year it's our 2 daughter-in-laws, Allison and Kim Easton, and several friends. We have blankets, hot coffee, hand warmers.
That is amazing. I'm sure they appreciate your support. I know I appreciate your support. And you were watching live here as some of those elite runners make their way down our streets in the city of Houston. They don't even look like they are breaking a sweat, guys. They don't look tired at all. They look like they are doing great. And again, you can see more and more runners coming through. A lot of these spectators extremely excited. So I'm going to toss it back to you.
All right, thank you. We just watched the final runners cross the starting line. How about that? So we have the last woman starting who will try to pass as many people as she can to raise money for charity. You just saw the interview with David Nuno earlier.
Which is great. We have another reporter on the site, on scene on the streets we wanted to go to now. Elisa Rivas, she is at the split at Bissonnet and Mandel just before mile 8. Elisa?
Just before mile 8, we are awaiting the elite runners. This location, this stretch of Bissonnet, will be very busy in the next 90 minutes. Here, this first 8 miles, this is going one way, is going to be the full marathon. That is through Rice Village. And then your half marathon goes back toward downtown through the Museum District. You'd be amazed. I think we already saw one wheelchair participant miss the split. Even with these huge signs, even with signage all the way down, it is easy to miss. So we are awaiting the elite runners. The crowd a little sparse right now, but here in the next 90 minutes, this stretch of Bissonnet, if you're walking out of your house in the Museum District, Rice Village, it is the time to come on out and see this quick pace that these runners have as they come through, the first ones through. And as Pooja was pointing out, they don't even look tired when they come through. We've done this over the years, and it's always amazing because when I see them early in the race, I'm thinking to myself, they're going so fast, and they're going to do it for the next 20-plus miles. Back to you guys.
Thanks,
Elisa,
you're right. Come out of the house and see it because it's amazing.
And I was going to say, Elisa, I'm betting that the people look tireder who come in later because those are not the pros.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. As we look now live, this is the half marathoners and the lead pack of men on your left, on your right. Sky 13 in our shot through. Well, I guess we're getting close to that spot in West University where Elisa was talking about. And where they make the turn, the half marathoners go straight, and then the full marathoners have to take that right turn.
Well, the last split I got was 30:28 for the 6 mile, which I think puts her like at 66-minute pace.
Oh, you're talking about the women's race,
right? On the men's race,
okay, we haven't seen the women yet.
Yeah, this men's race, they're really picking it up. They were on their second and third miles a little bit slow. Their 6 mile split, which I just got, I don't know if it's coming up for now. Their 6 mile split puts them like at 60 flat. They're dropping pace as each mile goes. When they turn onto Montrose and have that little bit of downhill, this could be incredible.
Really? At first you were concerned they weren't going as fast as you. Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to say not fast enough, but
the men's marathon's picking up a little bit too. I think they just counted on the rabbits a little bit, and the rabbits weren't able to do what they expected. Because it's hard to get a rabbit for these guys. It's hard to have someone that can pace, that can lead. They're supposed to be. They have to be at least as good as these guys, and if they were, they'd be racing.
Right.
So it's a struggle to get that done.
And usually, how many miles would you expect a pace or a rabbit to be able to?
Usually about half the distance.
Okay.
Sometimes they go longer, and that's when like they pay a rabbit to go through 18 miles, and he gets up there, no one's around. Well, heck, like, I'll just finish that. Those are the great stories of the rabbits winning the races.
I remember us having that before here.
And are there two different kinds of races that they often get into, and that is where they often get out to a really quick start and then it slows down, and then the other way where they get off to a little bit slower start than you thought today, and now they're picking it up.
Right. Now, if you want to do one of those two, you want to do what they're doing today. You want to get a slower start and have what they call a negative split. The second half is better than the first half. That's where most world records, most PRs are set, is on negative splits, or even but negative is a little bit better. Because if you're slowing down, especially in the marathon, you can really slow down.
Right. You're in trouble sometimes.
Well, we are very excited today to have with us a very special man, the mayor of the city of Houston, Sylvester Turner. And
welcome.
You were hosting a heck of a shindig downtown here today.
Well, look, we've got 27,000 folk that are out here. Every state is represented, and 59 countries.
I believe that 10 more than last year.
Right.
Last year,
The largest single sporting event in the city is, on any given day. So I'm very proud.
I was going to say an early morning, but perhaps not for you. You're probably up every morning early.
It's an early morning, but it's an amazing city.
You get up every morning, go running that early?
No.
Never mind. I shall not lie on a Sunday.
Okay, all right. Exactly. So tell us what it takes to put together this grand party. First of all, thanks to our police officers and firefighters out on the streets today taking care of everybody. But this is a whole lot of planning, not only by the Marathon Committee, which, by the way, does an incredible job, but by the city of Houston you work with.
Look, over 7,500 volunteers. There are a lot of people that are participating to make it work. A lot lot of the city departments on hand. First responders, as you mentioned, they're out here. Public Works, they're out here to make it happen. And we do a lot to make sure that people are safe. You know, we want people to come, participate, but you know, when you got 250,000 spectators that are out there, we want to make sure that everybody is safe.
You have some major sponsors, longtime sponsors, Chevron, Aramco, HEB. Talk a little bit about how important these partnerships are to give Houston a chance to be spotlighted like this worldwide.
There is no way the city of Houston operating by itself could put on such a major event without corporate sponsors like Chevron and Aramco and HEB and so many, many others. It could not happen. And it's not just a running event for us. You know, a lot of charities are benefiting from what's taking place today. A lot of money has been raised, you know, close to $30 million. So a lot of people, a lot of nonprofits will be benefiting. But without the corporate community, without our media partner, you know, you can't attract the elite runners from all over the globe if you don't put on a first-class event that's hosting so many runners. So I want to thank all of the corporate sponsors that have been with us for a number of years, not just 1 year now, but we're talking about people that have been with us 15, 20 years.
Right. Your buzzword in the past has been, this is one of the most, buzz phrase, if you will, been one of the most diverse, maybe the most diverse city in the United States. And we have 59 countries represented running here today. It's kind of reflective of that whole diversity because we're able to attract just an international party here.
Well, look, we have like the third or fourth largest consulate in the United States right here in the city of Houston. And so when you've got about 93 consulates, 93 countries that are literally officed in the city of Houston, and you have 59 countries that are represented in the most diverse city in the United States, that's a fact. You know, not New York, not LA, but the city of Houston. We attract people from all over. 1 of 4 Houstonian is foreign born. So it's only fitting and natural that you have so much international flavor in this particular event, which represents an international global city.
I like that, international flavor.
We get into our city for this event, elite athletes. But the other great thing about this event is it makes regular folks be more inspired to take care of themselves and to be healthy. And that's important, too, for a city to do things to be in better health.
And look, and the event itself is so diverse. Yes, elite athletes we do have, but people, wheelchairs, when it first started we had about 10.
Right.
Now we have well over 70, okay? We have people who are blind who are running with their partners, children. You know, we
7 years old.
7 going up into the 80s.
Yes.
You know, so it is really a very diverse event, which reflects the diversity of our city. But we say, you know, we can be diverse, but the question is, can we be inclusive? This marathon event is very inclusive.
It is indeed. Last year was our first race post-Harvey. You know, we're still in the throes of that recovery.
Yes.
So give us an update now on how this city is doing, although 17 months later.
You know, 17 months later, the city has had a remarkable recovery. I don't think any city could have recovered as much. Now, there are still hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals who are in homes that need to be repaired or rebuilt. We are finally at that point where the federal dollars are available. So this coming week, for example, City Council will be voting on the contractors. We've already finished our contract agreement with GLO, the General Land Office for the state. Everything now is in place. And so we've set up about 4 or 5 Harvey Recovery Centers, and there will be a 5th one centrally located. And people are now filling out their surveys so that we can assess their needs and get them directly to the help that they need. So that we don't want anybody to be frustrated.
No.
And we don't want any more delays. But the money from the federal government is finally now available for housing repair and housing assistance. I'm excited about that.
17 months, you're saying the word finally.
Yeah,
finally.
I know. It's a slow process.
It is.
And it's frustrating, I'm sure, for you as much as it is for the people who are still dealing with homes that are in disrepair.
But I do want to say, though, I want to thank the corporate community, people who have contributed, the local relief fund. We end up raising about $114 million just for the county and the city local relief fund, the volunteers, the nonprofits. But for them, a lot of people would still be in very bad shape.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of the volunteers, you mentioned it before too. So many volunteers that participate in putting together this event, whether it's through the employer that they have that they work for, or whether it's a community group they're a part of. It really is a manifestation of who we are as people here in Houston, what
Absolutely.
we did during Harvey, what we do today, and helping each other out.
An incredible city. Even with Harvey in our background, people have stepped up like never before. And a lot of people who visit our city, they can't see the signs of a Harvey.
Yeah.
You know,
you're right.
They can't see the signs. The spirit has always been strong in our city. This is a very giving, generous city. And we don't stay down. You may knock us down, but we get right back up. So the recovery is taking place. I simply want people to know we're not going to leave anybody behind. There's a lot of work for us to do is to make sure that we get the money to the people that really need it now as quickly as we can. And we don't want people to feel frustrated. We don't want them to go through the system and then feel as though, you know, still be confused and give up and just say nothing is going to happen.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
I guarantee if you and I were running out there today, those elites would be leaving us behind.
Yeah.
I guarantee
they'd
you.
be shaking in their sneakers, right?
They would be.
Right?
They'd be eating that dust, I'm telling you.
I was going to say, too, going back to the post-Harvey and the signs of it, I know the New York Times talked about Houston being one of the 52 places to go and visit this year.
Yes.
We were on that list,
Yes.
and part of it was they were talking about how well we'd rebounded. So
and we have, and people are coming to this city. The city continues to grow. And so we're going to do everything that we can to number one, to mitigate the risk of future flooding.
Yes.
That's the key.
Yeah.
You can get the money to repair homes and to rebuild homes, but what people want to know, will the situation improve such that we don't have to go through this again? And that's the top priority, is to build a city that's stronger, more resilient. We don't want to build back. We want to build forward.
Absolutely.
Got it. Mayor Sylvester Turner, thank you very much. Appreciate you joining us this
And look,
morning.
thank you, Tom. Thank you, Gina. Thank you all for what you do. Thank you for being a media partner.
We love it.
Pleasure.
You know, you're keeping us on the map, and I appreciate it.
Well, listen, this is one of our favorite days of the year because we both love doing live
Yes.
TV, and we both love this great event for the city of Houston. And we thank you for joining us this morning. I know it's chilly out there. My nose was running a little bit there, and I was like,
Nose is running my family.
Nose is running my
See,
nose
I
is
know,
running my
I know
family.
Tom's jokes. We've been together too many
right.
years.
You better leave before you hear my joke over
I'm
and
gonna
over.
leave. You know, Martin Luther King Parade tomorrow morning.
All right.
Okay, see y'all.
We'll be back
Thank
with
you.
more coverage of the Chevron Houston Marathon and Ramco Half Marathon in just a moment.
This will be my 9th Chevron Houston full marathon of 26.2 miles. Now my wife and my kids have been inspired.
I have 4 kids. My oldest is Samantha, and she's 13. I have Fabiana, she's 11 years old. I have Luciana, she's 10 years old. And I have Antonio, who is 7 years old.
We're the Ponce de Leon family.
I didn't start running full marathons until after I have all my 4 kids. I like to work out, right? But running for more than 4 hours, like a crazy idea. I was like, no, never me. Once I started, I just found that I love it. All of my kids enjoy running.
I am the fastest in my family. It's really exciting to have fun and be with each other and competing with each other.
Sometimes it just clears my mind. I feel like if the parents don't influence their children, people are going to miss out on just having the experience of completing the marathon.
Crossing the finish line never gets old. Anybody who's out there thinking about it, don't think it twice. Find a group, make it a goal, and accomplish your goal.
I love it. Running a family affair for the Ponce de Leon family. Come on, guys. Get on there and finish it all, 5 of you. How about that? That's incredible. Okay, we're getting an update now on the half marathon, John.
The women's half is flying right now. It's a 2-person race. They're still sitting with the rabbit, who's pulling them along. They had a little bit of a slow start. They threw in a 5:03 last mile, and the mile before that was 4:47 for the women. That's cranking for the women. That's a great single mile time. They're going to get under 66. I don't know if they'll get under 65, but they're trying like crazy. They still have the rabbit pulling them along. And the men's half over here on the left of the screen, Yimmer's dropping the hammer as well. He's on pace to, they've been running about 60 flat pace, what it's projecting. The paces he's running low 40s. He could, low 440s. He could get under 60. And I think he's probably a long shot at the course record, but he's got a chance at it.
59:22, right, is our course record
He'd have
here.
to really pick it up here at the end because they've only got a couple miles to go.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on them. And in the meantime, we want to go back to Courtney Fisher, who's at the River Oak Shopping Center. That's mile 4. Courtney?
Good morning, guys. Now moving out here. I just have to tell you, we just saw Jessica Willie. She left us 15 minutes ago. These runners are killing it out here. We have seen some of them shirtless, some of them just trying to hang on to this cold and doing a fantastic job. Although we're lucky, we are at mile marker 4, so we're at the front of all this. Everyone is still such good spirits. The crowd has been great out here. And guess who I met, guys? I met this woman named Sandy, and she says that her husband is running his 20th marathon today. That is incredible. You just saw him a few minutes ago.
Yes, I'm so excited. He looks great. He looks great. He looked pumped. He was excited. This is his 20th, so I'm just praying to God he makes it.
That is amazing. 20 marathons.
Yeah.
What inspires him to do it every year? He's seen some cold marathons, I'm
Yes.
sure.
He's done Boston, Austin, and Houston mainly.
And so mainly Houston. What
Yeah.
keeps him coming back to this one?
I think he just loves it. Yeah, this is a good marathon. They really do a lot for him, and he loves it.
What is it like? See, you just saw your husband. He's done this 20 times, but you're still out here supporting all these runners. What is it like to see all of these runners in the cold, your bundles?
So inspiring. It's very inspiring. They make me want to go out there and do it. I love it. Yeah, you got to hand it to them. That's a lot. Yeah.
Absolutely. How many layers do you have on today?
1, 2, 3, 4.
You came prepared. That's nothing, though, compared to these guys. My gosh.
No. I saw a guy, no shirt. They're amazing.
Braver than us, right?
I have my husband's sweatshirt, beanie. Yeah.
Thank you for talking with us, Sandy. Good luck to him, and of course, good luck to all these runners. It has been incredible. Like I said, they are cruising mile marker 4. They have got many miles to go, but the smiles on their faces make sure we know that they are happy to be here this morning. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you. Who is running the marathon today. We have a couple of other employees at Channel 13, Chaz Miller and Justin Sternberg, both running in the race today. As you take a look now, there's the starting point where we are, Congress at San Jacinto, and it winds its way across the city of Houston, as we say, about 250,000 people out there to cheer them on. Let's get some more out there. If you're watching us live and you think the runners are coming past your neighborhood, get out and cheer them on. It really means a world of difference.
Yes, we have David Nuno who's out our starting line. And David, what you got there?
I'll tell you what, one of my favorite parts of being here at the starting line is watching everybody's expression as they are about to start off. You have like 3 different types. You got, I'm so excited to be here. I'm so focused to be here. And why am I here? All 3 of those are out here, and they're all having a good time. They know why they're out here. They all have running for a reason. They're having a great time. The hands are up in the air, getting ready to roll. And one of the cool things is, it's getting a little warmer out here, at least at the start line. It's not warm by any stretch, Tom and Gina, but at the moment it's a little warmer than it was when we started. The runners are having a blast, and they're getting ready to start. We did see a crash a moment ago. Everybody helped out the runner who fell. It was great to watch all the fun and all the humanity out here. Back to you.
Them coming out is a very good thing, David.
It is. It is.
We're all looking forward. Well, I shouldn't say we're all looking forward to a warm up, because the runners, especially these elite runners who are going crazy fast, probably think it's just perfect. But for the regular folks, not so much. What are you looking at right now, John? How's it looking?
On the right, Kosgei is still with the pacer. Kosgei's pulled away from Chembatai. Kosgei won the Chicago Marathon. She's the one that ran the 7th fastest, best time of all time at 2:18:35, if I remember right. And Chembatai seems to be on the left of that right screen, if that makes sense. The more exciting race is obviously this men's race. You have 4 people coming in. They're past mile 11 at this point, and the mile 10 split was a 4:35.
You can see how fast they're running on that shot.
Yeah, that gives you an idea.
You can tell they are sprinting.
But if you're there, if you're standing next to them, like you're that person walking your head
what
just whips around how fast you're going. Their 10th mile was a 4:35 mile. Their 11th was a 4:41 mile, and they're about to head into downtown. They're right there on Allen Parkway by the park, so they're about to. They could pick it up even more.
Are there portions of this half marathon that are quicker, generally speaking, than others?
The only real downhill is a small section of Montrose. It's right before you get to Allen Parkway. Otherwise, it's really flat.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, there's only 8 or 9 turns on the whole course, and it doesn't have much of an elevation change. The marathon does at the end, because the marathon in Allen Parkway goes through the underpasses, if you ever driven down the road. They're rough because they're down and up, which is worse than going up and down. The half marathon avoids that. It merges on to Montrose and hangs to right, and it doesn't have those underpasses.
You talked often about the rabbits. Who sets that up? Is it the marathon that brings in the rabbits, or individual runners that get together and maybe?
The marathon sets that up. It's only done through the marathon committee will hire people to come in and try to do that job. Some people do it for a living. It's really hard. It's one of those things that sounds easier than it is, but it's a really hard thing to do, to not go too fast at the beginning, and the really good ones can run a perfectly even pace, not just hit the miles by going fast, slow, but run a perfectly even pace the whole time. I think so. The rabbit, the only one that's probably still left in the whole race, it looks to me, is the women's half marathon rabbit.
Someone did a tweet a minute ago about they thought the first person would finish before our last woman racing would start, but there she starts going to the finish line. That's
Megan going across the
starting line.
Last woman starting.
She got him by a few minutes.
So again, as she passes people, each person she passes will raise money for charity. Will be a donation that raises money for charity. So she's trying to pass as many runners as she can, and look at her go already. She's raising money already.
She could be mildly frustrated at the beginning.
Yeah,
she's going to be running a lot faster than the people around her.
Yeah, to be able to weave through the slow movers, huh? You know, another thing I noticed earlier when we're asking people to use the hashtag HOU Marathon to post things, and someone made mention of a friend of theirs that they're rooting for who's trying to qualify for Tokyo. So a lot of people do come here hoping to make it for the Olympics.
Right, because we don't have sort of like in Boston you have to qualify for, and also trying to make it to the Olympics. They're trying to make the Olympic trials is what a lot of folks are doing. This marathon also does a great, I can't remember the name now, but it's like a development program, and they'll set up rabbits to try to get people to hit the A standard, which for the women is 2:37 for a marathon, the men is 2:15, or the B standard, which for the men is 2:19, the women is 2:45, or you can do a B standard by running a half marathon under 64 minutes, say, for the men. And they've set things up for people to achieve those standards as well.
Okay, well, let's take it back to the race course, and Pooja Lodia, one of our reporters who's there, and she is at Kirby and Bissonnet. That's just about mile 7. Pooja, good morning.
Good morning to both of you. It is still cold out here, but take a look at these faces. I can tell you that we have seen all smiles out here. And really my favorite part is when you see some of these spectators screaming out for somebody and that person hears them. Take a look. I think that's Superman over there. He's definitely having a great time. So guys, I know you were cheering for your friend Missy. She heard you. She gave you a thumbs up. Tell us why you're here today. Why is it so important to support her?
She's my sister, and she's been working really hard at getting a good time.
That's great. And what did that feel like when she saw you? Because I couldn't believe it. There's so many people out here, and she saw you.
It felt really awesome that she could see us with all those people. It was awesome.
That is fantastic. You are good friends and family members, definitely.
And David, too.
You're waiting on David. Great. Well, hopefully he's watching, too, because, again, take a look at these people. All smiles out here. We are right in between mile 6 and mile 7. These people do not even look tired out here, and the spectators aren't tired either, because we've seen a lot of them actually leave. And look who that is right over there, waving wildly and doing an amazing job. Our very own Jessica Willie. I'm glad we were able to see her out here. I know she has been training for this for a really long time. This is not her first marathon. She runs all the time, and I am incredibly blown away and impressed by her dedication out here. I like that, guys. Mustache and beard over there also. Back to you guys.
Yeah, it was fun seeing Jessica going by. Yeah, good for her. Thanks, Pooja.
Yeah, we have a lot of people in this race out here. As a matter of fact, our employees, as they get live for this broadcast, here a day before setting up, and then all these guys, our crew, fantastic out here on Sunday morning.
Somebody asked on Twitter, Tom, why it is that you weren't out there running, and I told them it was only because the boss man said he needed you here.
I need to sit right here.
With me.
And that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
With it, right?
All right, let's go to John Warren and find out about the half marathon.
The women's race she's going to win it, I believe. I don't think Chematai's close. She's going to run at least, at a minimum, the fastest time ever run in the Western Hemisphere.
Wow.
Yeah, she's going to, if she keeps this pace up or even picks up, she might go in the 65-minute range.
Wow.
And this is not Chematai.
No, this is Chematai. This is Bridget Koski.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about her.
Bridget was Chicago Marathon winner this year, 218, one of the big majors. Her marathon time is the 7th fastest ever run in the history of women running marathons. So
coming into this marathon,
she was one of the favorites.
Her,
yes, she was one of the favorites. If Chematai's on, I don't think anyone can touch her. But obviously, Chematai hurt her ankle. She set that ran the second fastest ever, and then soon after that had an ankle injury. And so the rest of last year didn't reflect that 64.52 that she ran. In her last race of September, it was good, but you didn't know if she was going to come in and be able to do this well.
Is she talking to that rabbit at all?
No, I wouldn't think so at this point.
You save your breath, right?
Yeah.
What is there to say, Tom?
Well,
don't trip.
He'll keep hearing her or looking back to make sure he's not going too fast or too slow. Now, on the men's side, their 12th mile was a 4:34.
That's fast.
That's fast. This looks like a track race at this point. Like they're finishing a 5K. This is going to be awesome. Obviously, they're in downtown, and they're going to be close to the finish. They're going to finish the next couple of minutes.
And Jamal Yimmer of Kenya is still out front, right?
Right. Again, and if he does win this will be the first half marathon he's ever run.
Oh.
And he's like one of the greatest in history.
I say Kenya.
Ethiopia. So you know, we've talked about this before, but for people who are not used to watching marathons, what happened?
I don't know.
Wrong?
They started following the truck. I see what they did wrong. The truck exited. The pace truck.
I hope the runners didn't do the wrong thing just because their times. I'm worried about their times.
It looked a little bit odd.
But these runners are how big?
I would imagine that Yimmer is probably, I don't know his height. I guess Tom, you're up on stage. He's probably 5'6", 5'7".
I would say that.
And he probably goes, maybe 105, 110 pounds.
105, 110.
Yeah. They're very thin. They're I mean, a really good runner is almost like a basketball player is extra big or a football player. They're kind of squeezed down a little bit. The shoulders aren't as wide. They're very light. It's a very light thing. And it's not something you get light by eating. You get light by just genetics. Yeah, and then you train a lot.
You're born for a certain.
But being really big is not an advantage out here.
Yeah.
You will see the exceptional tall runner, but it's really rare.
Every year I do the pre-race press conference, and I'm amazed at how slight these athletes are and how powerful they are, despite that slightness.
And again, it's not. You don't really sense it until you're next to them. You realize I can bench press that guy.
Yeah, because when you look at them on screen,
you think
they
they're
don't
6
look
feet tall.
Yeah, they look way taller than they are.
Yeah.
Then when Slovak does the interview, he's going to be a monster compared to that.
Right. Well, I look way taller than I am too, right, Gina?
I look way younger than I am, Tom.
No, not at all. Well, this is going to be a great race here. Here it is.
No,
We're coming to the finish line.
Is it going to cost? Is he going to get second again?
Now
he might.
That just changed.
Oh, my God, he's kicking it.
Yeah, Shura Katata, he ran a really good one last year. He's got a PR of 59.16. The winner here was second at New York and second at London in the marathon.
And here we
come. The 204 marathoner.
There they come behind us. They just passed us. And there we go.
Oh, and Jamal Yimmer still has not won.
Got a second. That's good. Those will be in the top 20 times ever run in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah, they really hammered at the end. They picked it up, and they couldn't get under that 60 because they went out a little bit too slow.
So there you have it. The elite runners winning in second and third, and now fourth place in the men's half marathon this morning. How about that?
He looks happy with that performance.
Oh, that's a good feeling at the end. That's a smart race that he ran. He's able to outkick Yimmer coming into the end. But that was a flying last few K. I'll figure out that's what the last 5K or so was, but it might have been.
They kept the head on the whole time.
Shura Katata, Ethiopia. So the Ethiopians maintaining their title here at the Houston Half Marathon. That's a good shot.
He's run here a few times. He was, I'll look up real quick. He ran here last year and was fourth place in 60-20. So he upped that time a little bit. And last year was a much tighter race as this was.
All right, and this coming in is
Patrick Tiernan. He's a Villanova. He's an Australian from Villanova. He's a really good 10K runner. He's unusual because he is tall. He just towers over all these guys. But he's a recent grad from Villanova. I think he's 24 years old. That's a really good run for him. That's an excellent run.
Is 44 an old runner?
Oh, 24. I'm sorry,
Okay.
24.
I was like-
Yes, 44
I was
is
like,
an old
44.
runner.
I was like, wow, look at him.
We get really spoiled here. We're looking at these people running 61 minutes and going, oh, they only ran 61 minutes. 61 minutes is phenomenal. These are some of the best times in the world at the end of the year. This ranks up there. There's a few really great half marathons: Philly half, Copenhagen, Valencia, and one in Prague. And this one ranks right up there with all those.
Well, we're watching our female leader right now.
And we talked with Kara Goucher on Friday. Of course, Kara sat here on the set with us for the last couple of years. Decided to go back into running this year. She's running the women's marathon this year. She just turned 40, and she said, no, I'm not one of the kids running, but I still have it in me at 40. Running is a bit of an older sport. You wouldn't think of, say, an NFL player. There are the Tom Brady's and a few others.
Yeah, distance running.
And you'll see good people in their upper 30s, an occasional person in their 40s will do well. There's actually a woman in this race that started out in the half marathon. She started out as a 3:52 marathoner like 7-8 years ago, and she's going to run. She's running in the 2:30s probably today.
Wow.
She started as talk about an average Joe, and going from average Joe to being one of the elites.
More elite, yeah.
And she's gotten old. She's getting better. She's getting older because she had such a late start to begin with.
So this is Bridget Kosgei, who has really the lead all by herself, right? There's nobody really that's that close behind her, is there?
No, I don't think so at all. I think what shots we've seen, there's nobody really even in sight.
You know, and as I look at the list, really some of the top women in this race today are from Kenya. She's from Kenya, and I know it's followed by some Ethiopians as well. As you said, it's almost a team challenge here between Ethiopia and Kenya today in both races.
They're about to go 1-1, I think. Her last mile 12, was a 5 flat. Her last 4 miles have been 5:03, 5:03, 4:58, 5 flat. That no one's staying with her isn't that big of a shock. I mean, 4:55, 4:56 is world record pace. So I think she's on pace, like I said, to set the all-time USA record.
And what's the record here at the Houston Marathon in the women's half?
It is 66:29 by Mary Wissera, who's in the race today.
Yes.
Yeah, last year 66:39. That 66:29 is the USA all-comers record. It is the best ever.
And I'm looking at how slight she is next to the men. They're coming behind us.
No, they
Oh, no, that's
should be a little further out than that.
Yeah, that's a man coming behind us. The crowd behind us got louder. I thought it was her. And there goes the pacer. Kicking,
that means
back.
she's really close because he's going to get out of the way to give her glory. And she actually looks like she's picked it up since the pacer pulled off. I think we're going to see her pretty soon. Now she's just chasing this gentleman down.
Yeah, she's using him as her pacer.
Yep. I'm going to chase him down, and she's going to look at the next guy. I mean, and he's running really well. To be fair, I mean, it's not like he's being beat by a girl. It's like no, this is incredible how fast he's running.
It's funny to me how close she gets to him instead of going to the side.
Right, you pull right up and then zip around him. It's a lot like a NASCAR sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, but then the next guy behind her, we barely saw him. He's kind of like, okay, I don't want to be beat by a girl. so he's trying to keep up with her. He's trying to catch her right here in the pink shoes.
Well, here we go. She is about to come down and cross this finish line and, we assume, win this Aramco Half Marathon in the women's half today. Final home stretch here.
We have a couple of hand cyclists coming over the finish line in a minute as well.
We should see here in a second. This is going to be really fast. I hope so. I like to see her. No one's ever broken 66. I mean, they haven't been close in the United States.
None of the women.
And she may be way under it, assuming we see her at some point.
And some of the men still sprinting, coming across the finish line.
There she is.
Here she comes. This is Bridget Kosgei of Kenya to win the Aramco Half Marathon this year.
This is incredible.
What's she going to cross in, we
okay,
think?
She's going to like trying to help her out.
66:50 would be my guess, somewhere on that, or 65:50.
Here she goes. It's just going to be under 66.
I think I could run that pace for 200 meters.
Unofficially,
that's about it.
65:50.
Wow.
That is the fastest time ever run in the Western Hemisphere.
Really?
Wow.
Ever on the side. By 66:29 here was the record by Mary Wissera until right now.
All right, well, let's turn to Amro Shali, who's the chief editor with Aramco. Thank you joining us, our title sponsor here in the Half Marathon. What a race you just watched here.
It's an amazing race. I understand the weather is a little bit cold and chilly, but the energy out there and the heat is keeping us all warm.
Yes, I don't know if you heard what John just said about the race that she just ran, the fastest time in the Western Hemisphere ever. So You guys are a part of history.
Well, we're here for Houston.
Yeah, you are.
And honestly speaking, I mean, this is a great opportunity for us, for Houston, and if this record make it, we're so happy and proud of it as well.
Well, this is the 15th year that Aramco has been our title sponsor for the half marathon. Why do you keep coming back every year?
Well, 15 years. Can you believe that? It's 15 years of memory, 15 years of commitment to the city of Houston. We're so proud of it. A lot of memories has been made in here. I mean, a lot of these athletes have made this marathon and the participation of this marathon one of their life achievements. And we are at Aramco so proud, actually, to be part of this special memory they created over here.
We are so glad. Hang on one second, Amro.
Yes,
we're going to go to Bob Slovak, who has the winner in the half marathon. Bobby?
Oh, yeah, we are here with Sira Katada of Ethiopia. He just finished a great race, out-sprinted his competitors down the stretch. He doesn't speak much English, so we have the interpreter with us. Ask him about the finish, outrunning the other three runners.
የመጨረሻዎቹን ሶስቶቹን እንዴት አድርገህ ቀደምካቸው? በመጨረሻ ላይ
ፊኒሽንግ ላይ ስለ እኔ ፊኒሽንግ አለ ስለዚህ ፍጥነት ጨምሮ እኔ ይበልጣል
I was ready for it, you know, at the finish line I wanted to really burst out and be, you know, first place. And that was my plan.
The weather seemed to be perfect for running today. Did it help him that it was a nice no wind?
የአየሩ ጠባይ ቅዝቃዜው ረድተዋል ወይ? ጥሩ ነው ወይ?
ቅዝቃዜ ትንሽ ይከብዳል ግን ጥሩ ነው ንፋሱ
The cold was a challenge, but the wind was okay. I could manage it.
All right, sounds good. That smile says it all right there. The folks from Aramco are here with the presentation.
Congratulations. This is our 15th year for Aramco to host the half marathon. We are very proud of you. We wish you the best in your other races in the future.
እንኳን ደስ ያለ ይሄ አራምኮ የሚባለው ይሄንን ስጦታ ይሰጣል እና ለወደፊቱም ጥሩ ምኞታችንን እንገልጻለን።
Congratulations, your belt buckle. I'm thinking that's his first belt buckle.
Yes.
The smile, of course, says it all. He looks like he could run another half marathon. Tom, Gina?
He does.
Yeah, he does. He looks great.
I know two words of Amharic in Ethiopia, and that is Tanestalin, hello, and Amase Ganalo, he said, which is thank you. So, Amase Ganalo. Amro Shale, we're still here on the set with us, the chief auditor of Aramco. That does your heart good to see that kind of running here, and then the record set by the women.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's a good record. Seeing it live make it very special. And again, this relates to what I said earlier. This race represents so much to us. It's a creation of special moments for everybody. And we are, as Aramco, so happy and proud to be part of that.
So many of your employees volunteer and put in actual sweat equity into this event too.
Absolutely. I mean, we have about 100 Aramco employees out there in the race themselves.
Oh, in the race
and
too.
We have more than 200 employees actually volunteering and serving around along with their families and friends. I think my wife somewhere also is volunteering. I gotta look up for her later.
She's volunteering, not running. Are you a runner yourself?
Well, I'm not a runner, honestly. I would love to run, but this year I choose to serve and volunteer and help. But next year, I'm planning to run.
Okay. Being a volunteer or a cheerleader are equally good tasks as well.
That's exactly it. As we talked about, it's so important for people to come out and cheer on the runners because it does them so much good when people, you know, clap and cheer. And I was talking to you earlier about how many people wear their names on their shirts or their jerseys because people go, oh, there's Vicky, go Vicky.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, seeing these people, seeing the happy faces, seeing the enjoyment, it means a lot to us. It means a lot to all of us.
Well, we certainly hope Aramco will continue to support this event in the city. It's such an important event.
And we're going to hold you to that. We're going to be waiting to see you on the race course next year.
Thank you very much.
I'm Roshali with Aramco.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate
As we go back
it.
to look at some of these people crossing the finish line here in the half marathon this morning. As we said, we have a new record here, I think, John, in the women's race, the half marathon.
Yeah, that was a huge record. The 65:50 is one of the fastest ever run. I heard an indication on it. I didn't see it yet. Did Emily Sisson set the record as well?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yes, we just got confirmation. She set the American record as well, coming right behind
I guess we were so focused on Kosgei winning it and in that record time that we kind of lost track of the second and third place finishers.
And the Americans.
Oh,
you're getting information to your what?
Yeah, she just missed the American in course record. Molly Huddle ran 67:25 last year. Emily ran 67:30 today.
Oh, 5
67:30, yes.
Oh, wow. No. Okay. Well, you know, we're going to go to Bob Slovak in a moment, but again, I want to remind you that you can share your tweets with us. We've been scrolling some of them at the bottom of the screen, and we like listening to those as well and hearing from you. Right. Let's go to Bob Slovak now, who's with the winners down there at the finish line.
Yeah, I have the winner of the women's half marathon, Bridget Koski from Kenya. She's a little cold. She's got the Kenyan flag draped on her. How are you feeling right now?
I am okay, but the weather is very cold, but I struggled up to my moment until I finish.
You set a course record. Tell me about the finish. You seem to have a really good pace the whole race.
I feel well because I have a pacemaker who pushed me until my maximum, but it's very cold.
It's very cold. We're going to let her get warm. Go ahead and get with the presentation here from her.
Congratulations. You have been at Aramco sponsoring this for 15 years. You make us proud, okay, for this memorable moment. Okay, we're so proud of you. Okay, thank you so much.
Congratulations, Bridget. Go get warm.
Thank you.
Go get warm. We're going to let her go get warm. Congratulations.
I'm kind of surprised to hear her say how cold she is because she just looks so comfortable to me running. But
yeah, and you think she'd be warm by now.
Yeah, and she just didn't look like she was bothered at all.
But when you have no body fat at all, when you stop, you get cold quickly.
I would only imagine.
She's from Kenya. She may not be used to these temperatures either. All right, more of the Ramco Half Marathon and the Chevron Houston Marathon right after this quick break.